Welcome to Coaching Minutiae. I'm your host, Nic Carothers. I'm glad to have you back with us. We have a wonderful episode today. Today we have another Hall of Fame coach with 40 years of wisdom to share with us about the game and some great stories about her journey, her path, and all the lives that she's touched along the way. It's my pleasure, my honor to host DeeAnn Ramey. Is our next guest. What's up, Coach? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Good.
Nice
Good to see you. Yes. Come on, have a seat and let's talk shop. Let's talk the game. Let's talk the game. So, how are you? First of all,
great.
Family well.
Family's well. Getting ready to have a second grandbaby a week from Monday.
Oh,
so yeah, it's here. So
okay, all right. So tell me how it is. Is it slowing down for you being a grandparent, or does it feel like you picking back up where you left off?
Picking back up. Picking back up. Really, to be honest, it's being a grandparent is I'm a Gigi.
Okay.
I'm a Gigi.
Gigi.
Gigi. Yeah. It's what everybody said it was. It's awesome. It's the most unbelievable feeling. So I'm just enjoying every day.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Does your daughter, because your daughter's had the babies, right? Does she say to you that you were never like this with her, that you are with your grandbabies?
She hasn't really said that yet, but we go back and forth because some of the things that we talked about when she was younger, like when I would get mad at her or something, and I'd say, Taylor Danielle. So, and she hated that. And now I see her saying that with her son, Skylar Damari and things like that. And, I just can't wait to see her when they start to drive or they ask to go to the first party or, see her in the stands watching her play,
Yes.
It's just all coming together. So
well, that's exciting. That's super exciting. Us as individuals, we are models of what we see from our parents. Our parents, more than what they say, what they do. You find yourself as an adult doing the same things or saying the same things that they said to you more often than not. And as coaches, our players probably do the same thing, and they're probably have flashbacks like, I remember when coach used to say that to me, and now, oh man, I'm saying it now, so
right. I mean, the role models in not only our families, our sons, our daughters, but then our players who become our daughters. The role models that we provide for them, I think, is they pick up on, and it's just critical to the coaching and the teaching that we do as coaches.
I don't think people really realize how much that their children become a part of our lives. I mean, those parents are trusting us with their children. Those parents are giving us time with them to help mold who they are, not just as ball players, but as people. And we take that so personal, as if they were our children. Coach Mitchell, who was on our show, spoke about the same feeling that, we're not trying to replace anybody as a father or as a mother, but we look at those children as if they are our own, because when we do have children of our own, we would want someone to treat them the same way that we treat their children, whether it's holding them accountable, whether it's giving them grace and patience. That is so important, Coach. I think that might be a lost art and how people approach coaching the game now. I really do.
I agree with you. It's funny because my daughter would tell, my players or my former players, she treated you guys just like she treated me. And I thought that was powerful and coming from her. And, but growing up through that system, she enjoyed every minute of it. She wouldn't have changed it for the world. But it is powerful when families give you the opportunity to coach their daughters and be in their daughter's life. It's just, now, I've seen that trust from, in my earlier years be, a lot more supportive. And as the years come by, families are more involved and more distrusting and not willing to give, a coach their full support.
Oh man, the support of our families can make or break your program. The support of your families can make or break the message you're trying to get across to their child in that hard moment, in that adverse situation, in that moment where she doesn't have confidence in herself. The support of the parent echoing what you're saying from the stands, or making sure that they're being held accountable to get sleep and get rest and do your homework and all those things, or don't come home complaining because I know coach wants what's best for you. You know, that support for us as coaches is like a cape for Superman or Superwoman. You know, it's literally the sail in our ship to help push this child to their greatest potential. And if you don't have that parental support, it don't mean anything. Mm-hmm. It don't mean anything.
I have a conversation with my parents at the beginning of the year, and especially with girls, they want the support of their fathers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know, the fathers, and it doesn't make a difference if they're in the stands and a daughter's trying to get their approval and they just see them drop their head, or see them, you know, and they see that. And you know, obviously I was a daughter and I wanted my father's approval, you know, and it's so critical. And, you know, we know our girls don't go out there to make mistakes. They don't go out there to you know, do wrong. They're trying their best. And as, you know, families, as coaches, we just need to support them and know that, you know, they're out there doing their best. And then we correct some of the stuff that we teach.
And give them space to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
The most growth you're going to have as an adult, as a person, especially as a player, is through your mistakes. I've learned more from my losses than I've done by winning, Coach.
Absolutely.
So those failures along the way, I just fail. I didn't fail. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I just had a moment of stumbling. I had a moment of where I lost my footing. I had a moment where I maybe face plant, but I'm getting back up, and getting back up after that failure and continuing along that path is beating the failure part. You know what I mean? So
it's how you respond.
Yeah.
It's definitely how you respond and how you pick yourself back up and gain that confidence, and then, you know, then you take another step up.
Yes.
And then you fail again, and then you take another step up if you respond. But, you know, again, it's about a lot of confidence and instilling and believing, getting the girls to believe in themselves. Yeah. Not only in playing the game, but in life. You know, I mean, we have to be so strong.
So I know you were a player, Coach. So tell me, who was that coach that impacted your life that, you know, maybe you didn't know you wanted to coach, but this coach just stands out in your mind, or it might be multiple coaches who stood out in your mind and who were vital to your development as a woman, your development as a coach, as a ball player. Let's give those coaches their flowers.
Yeah. Well, I've been blessed with an unbelievable journey. You know, I started out at Roncalli, and I taught or coached 3 sports. So volleyball, basketball, and track. And, you know, I worked under some unbelievable coaches. Kathy Nally Shimbra, she was top-notch volleyball coach.
Gotcha.
Roncalli was top in the state.
Oh, yeah.
And learned so much from her. Bob Kirkhoff at the time was the girls basketball coach, and I was his assistant. Again, another Kirkhoffs in the Roncalli, you know, community is well known, and he was phenomenal. And then Larry Shimber was the track coach. All 3 of those, they were top coaches in their sport, and I got to take a lot of experience and education from those 3. And then my high school coach, Joe Johnson is still an assistant at Mooresville.
Oh my! Wait a minute.
That was my head coach, Joe Johnson.
I know who you talk about.
Yeah.
We see him every year.
Yeah.
You know, Mooresville is Decatur Central's rival. You know, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big wow for me. I can't wait to see him again.
Yeah. So Joe Johnson was my high school coach, and so girls basketball started the year before I became a freshman. I was a freshman, started, and then my sophomore year, we had me as a sophomore starting point guard, and then we had 4 juniors, And that's the year we went to the real Final Four state. No 3-point line.
Yeah. I got
No
you.
3-point line, no classes. And we made it to the state, and it was just an unbelievable experience. And to see Coach Johnson still giving back and still having the relationships that he has with all of us. There's a group of us that were from that Final Four team that we still, in fact, we all got together. I think there were 15 of us. They did an article on us. We all got together and went to a Fever game. And it was just, again, an unbelievable experience, an experience that sports and relationships and that sports give you, you just can't deny.
There's nothing more important as an adult than being able to build a relationship with the people that are around you or with people that you've never met. You know, as a coach or just in professional life, a lot of opportunities that are going to come in your life are going to come off your relationships. They're going to come off your interpersonal skills. And that's something that I'm really, really big with my team on, is how you communicate to each other, how you communicate to me, the effectiveness of your communication. Did you give enough detail in your communication? And having those uncomfortable conversations. You know, I've never been a part of a great team or coached a great team that didn't have some type of conflict.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It didn't have some type of uncomfortable or awkward conversation, or maybe a rift between somebody. That you got to sit down and have a clear understanding of where each party comes from, and maybe you don't agree, but you respect the position of the other person. That relationship, it goes a long way later on in life when you're working with people you don't get along with, when you're coaching against people or with people maybe you see different aspects. You have to listen and actually respect the person first to receive what they're giving you. You know? So the relationship.
And we know right now that in life, take basketball out of the picture, in life, it's the relationships that you have built that is going to get you that job now. It's not necessarily the skill level.
Yeah.
You know, it's who you know.
Oh, yeah.
Who have you treated well? Who have you respected? Who, you know, it's those qualities that are going to take you further in life.
Yeah.
Then, as you do, like I try to instill in our girls as well. I just said to, you know, one of my classes that the other day is like, you know, the person right next to you as a freshman, sophomore, junior, that might be a CEO.
Yes.
This person over here, you better get to know them. Introduce yourself.
Yes.
You know, share, you know, don't hide. Some of our players and coaches, and probably me being one of them, you know, keep everything kind of inside. And I tell my girls, you're cheating everybody else as to who you really are. You are an unbelievable young lady.
Oh, tell them that again, Coach.
Yeah,
tell them that.
You are an unbelievable young lady, and you're cheating other people if you don't expose yourself to them and be vulnerable and let them get to know the authentic self.
I tell my girls that your voice is powerful. Your voice has meaning. Will Glover, who was on the episode, he had a great phrase, and I'm stealing this phrase real. I love you. All feelings are valid, but the ability to express those feelings in a professional manner, in a way and a tone that it can be received by other people, is a skill. It is super important that you develop that skill by expressing yourself and meeting people and making connections along the way. If you allow other people to take your voice, the world will be okay with doing so. And we know in the world we live in now, especially for women, they want to silence. They don't want your opinion. Mm-hmm. And I will not be a coach that silences my young ladies. And then you might have a moment of red. You might have an upset moment where you see red and you go off. But I have to let you express yourself so that I can allow you to have a voice, but also come back with you with direction on maybe we direct that conversation in this way, or maybe we approach that this way to help you grow and develop. But if you don't give her space to speak, and I don't know, I don't know about you, but I was always told, don't ask me why, just do what I said.
Yeah.
We can't do that to kids
Right.
nowadays.
No,
They got
exactly.
Siri, they got
Yeah.
Alexa, they got all kind of things that they can tell them why right then and there. So as a coach, we have to adjust and give them your reasoning, give them the why, and give them the substance of how important or what's important about that, so she'll value what she's doing.
Yeah.
If you don't give her that, then you're not building a relationship as a coach, and she won't be receptive as someone you're asking to open up and be vulnerable.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I did. Took a little risk, and I'm really into team building, team bonding, and a lot of things like this. And took a little risk and created a safe space for our team. And I actually got the gist of this from a game show, but just brainstormed and thought through it. And so the coaches couldn't be involved. The players got up, stood up, and then we asked them certain questions. And in that question, they had to rank from number one to the least. So, for instance, rank the team in order from best defensive player to worst defensive player. And it was the team. The team had to decide that. And then at the end, they had to be good with where they ended up, right? So, did everybody agree? No. How did they handle that conflict?
Or that conversation,
Right.
yeah.
And then we would do that. And then the person that was at the bottom, now what are you going to do about it? This is what your team, how does that make you feel? Now, are you going to work harder to get better defensively? Yeah. Well, one of the interesting things was, and then if a girl thought she was the better defender, like, how did she respond? Was she quiet and didn't speak up and say, no, I'm a better defender than her?
Right.
Again, but monitoring the conversation in a safe place. It worked out beautifully. But one of the questions we asked was, who's the hardest worker?
Ooh, that's a great question.
So the hardest worker. So they ranked themselves. And what was interesting about this is the hardest worker, the girl that the team thought, the team said she was number one, never felt like the team appreciated what she brought to the team till that day.
Because she may not be your best player either. Sometimes
exactly.
your hardest worker is not your best player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It should be,
yeah.
But it doesn't always work out like that.
Right. And so that really influenced and made a big impact on her. Then we came back and asked, out of the team, who's the biggest, the most influential players on our team?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, let's go back to the least hardest workers.
Okay.
I had two girls that automatically went down to the bottom. All right, they knew it. They accepted it.
No, they knew it.
They knew it.
Oh, man.
They accepted it. But who are the biggest influence? They took their butts and went right back to the top, and everybody knew it.
Yes.
And then, so how do we address that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here's my least hardest workers, but you provide the most influence.
You got that voice in that locker
You've
room.
got that
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
You are, your personality.
Yeah.
So how do we navigate that
Yeah.
as a coaching staff, as a team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was powerful. It was a powerful, I felt, activity, and helped us a lot.
So I'm still in that too. Okay, I'm sure the coaches will too. But the level of accountability that you have to have when your peers acknowledge you as this or that or
Right.
here or there, and it's not personal.
Right.
Your level of personal accountability, it's got to do something to you. Either you're going to rise up, like you said, or you're going to fold.
Right.
And in preseason right now, a lot of us are in preseason right now. I've been preaching this. I'm trying to get the right people on the bus, Coach.
Yeah.
Who's going to be with me when it's thick and thin? When it's not the best time, when you're having the rough day or a rough week or a couple games in a slump, or we're playing a big opponent that maybe really took it to us last year. Who's going to be ride or die with me in those moments?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to
Right.
figure out how to find those individuals and give them opportunities to make mistakes and learn as they go, because they've earned that, from where their work ethic, from their skill level, from their availability. Your best ability is availability. Coach Gabby said I should. Gabby Smith said I should put that on a shirt. I'm working on the design, Coach. I'm working on the design. Okay, but that's a real thing, to have those conversations with your team and actually not have to say something is genius.
Yeah.
I mean, you just ask a question. That's genius. Coach.
And then we discuss it, and it's a safe place. And we all know, kids in general and players in general, let's get it out here. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out, instead of coming up with little cliques like, she can't play. You know what I mean? We know what happens behind, even though they're your teammate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I really felt it bonded us even closer.
That's
so
awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. Oh my goodness.
But just to have those conversations, and then for everybody to feel validated.
So, on the topic of conversations, Coach, let's talk about this conversation of this player movement that's going on, not just in the country, but specifically in Indiana. Our new rule is that you can transfer as an underclassman and be eligible to play within 30 days. So, for example, a young lady could play volleyball, finish volleyball season, try out for basketball. She doesn't make varsity, but the coach tells her, you're going to play some JV, dress some varsity. She's not happy with that, so she can transfer to School B, be eligible within 30 days, play the season, and then come back to your school in the spring. Now, you only get one of those, but for a coach, dealing with trying to hold accountable, to have the team bonding, to build something special, the school choice is probably the biggest thing behind this new rule, and our IHSA does a really good job of just trying to navigate what the landscape is. They do a really good job of that. But for us as a coach, how would you navigate what we're in right now?
It's tough, to be honest. I think it puts us even in a more vulnerable state than as a coach, and makes it harder on us as a coach on how you get that team unity, that team bonding, that team loyalty, that team buy-in, because we all know one player can change the whole dynamics of your team.
Oh, the teams aren't built like the teams you had, Coach.
Right.
You had some
Yeah,
teams, Coach.
yeah.
You had some players, Coach.
Yeah.
They're not built like that no more.
But we had conflict too along the way. But again, it's like, and a lot to that piece that you're asking to me is like, it kind of all depends on if a player comes to you authentically,
Yes.
or if a player goes to a coach that has been recruited. And, I think there's a huge difference. If, some circumstances have come in and players have to leave for that reason, then, so be it, right?
Right.
But if coaches are recruiting players, if they're telling them that they can do this for them, they can do that for them, then that's a totally different, a separate.
Coach, I think we both have been on the end of the stick where you have a player that has been in your program, that you have given your all to this player, and someone come and promise the player or mom and dad or uncle, whoever, A, B, and C, and now that player has decided to leave for what they believe is greener pastures.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happened to me multiple times in the last few years where you have a kid, they leave, and then you see the kid not get what they were promised. Because, people are so brazen right now about why they're leaving, or they're not happy, or I don't like this school, so I don't like this coach, so I'm taking my kid A, B, and C, and they'll come tell other coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And for me as a coach, I feel bad for the coach that you probably didn't go have a conversation with. And in those tough conversations, Coach, I don't know about you, but I use film for everything. I record everything. And so we record and stat everything so we can show this is who your kid is in practice. This is who your kid is in the weight room. This is who your kid is in games. And this is not what she measures up against anybody else, but this is what we're asking of her and what she's able to deliver. So it's my job to put her in a position to succeed, whichever level that might be at, with however many shots that might be. And I don't really get to, I'm not choosing how many shots you get, but you've earned this playing time by what you did in the weight room and on the court and in practice.
Right. And, I just think that, anybody that wanted to leave my program, I allowed to leave. I gave them, I didn't want them to be where they didn't want to be.
Right.
But also, there's a part of me that this is a high school kid. The adults in that player's life,
speak on it,
is making the decisions. So whether it be the receiving coach or whether it be the parents, those are the ones that are coming together. Those are the parents that are believing that coach. Ultimately, the child can't leave unless the parents are in support of it.
Correct.
And so I did not feel that the players, the students, should be punished.
Never, yeah.
Punished for adult decisions.
Yes.
And and then we know, we have schools that recruit kids, but then won't let them leave.
Oh yeah.
And it just
or recruit them just so that someone else doesn't have them, with no intent of playing
them. But
they've lied to that family and said, "Come here because this is what she's gonna get, or she's gonna start, or this many shots, or this many minutes." But then, just so somebody else doesn't have that player, once you hear, you stuck now.
Yeah.
And I don't have to play.
And that to me, that's when, again, it goes back to it's win at all costs, or try to win at all costs, because that doesn't guarantee you a win.
Yeah.
And it doesn't guarantee that I'm going to lose against you just because you know what I mean. So but it's adult decisions that are hurting our children.
I just think it sends the message some in some cases, not every case, because like you said, it might be a family situation, it might be a parent getting a different job, but it sends the message to our children that if something is hard, you just go around it or go the other way instead of facing that adversity, right? If we're trying to get from point A to point B, right, and the shortest line from point A to point B, or the best path from point A to point B, might have some resistance, the impediment to progress is whatever's in the way. That's the way.
Right.
You have to face that adversity head on. You're not going to be able to navigate life and run from adversity. So I think that the parents, some parents, I'm not saying all parents, but some that are making these decisions that their kid maybe has to wait before it's her turn to play because somebody's better in front of her. Maybe that coach is trying to hold that kid accountable to make sure that she's coming to all the mandatory workouts and practices. And they have non-negotiables as coaches. You can't miss the practice before a game and believe you're going to start that next game. You can't miss practice because you're getting your hair done. You can't miss practice because it's your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss practice because you're going on a vacation that you knew that was scheduled, but you didn't communicate beforehand. So I got to rule my kids. If you know you got something to miss practice, you got to miss a workout, just give me 3 days notice, 3 business days. This is what you're going to have to do with your job. You're gonna have to give them a notice that you're going to be out. So let's learn those life skills now, because when you get to college, it's a job now.
Right.
College
and that's
ball,
what I was going to say. We're not preparing them for college.
College ball is a job now. Your child is being paid to play ball. So once you understand that what we're doing in high school with the structure that we have for her, the consequences might be 2 suicides and 20 squats if she's late to practice. She might have to not start a game, not benching them, but not start a game if she misses the practice before the game. It's not personal. We're trying to prepare your child for when these coaches in college have given your child a check. And they expect results. They expect her to get her grades and wake up for practice, be on time, show up to weights, and perform. And she doesn't. She's going to be back home with you if she didn't have the structure that we're trying to give them or that we have been preaching. So don't run from that structure. Don't run from good coaching.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because they're not going to be able to handle it when they get to that level. Yeah. They don't know how to handle that.
Right.
And the kids that transfer, I think, transfer from the coaches or won't go to the programs where coaches hold them accountable.
Right.
And they keep up, they care about them as a person, not necessarily a basketball player.
Right.
Or more than a basketball player. Speaking to the college level, I had a player that was recruited to a D1 college, and she wasn't failing the class, but she failed a test.
Ooh.
Okay? Head coach took her phone. Explosion. Phone call to me. Mom's calling me. Mom's calling the college coach. I mean, it was explosion to the point where I'm leaving. This isn't happening. You know what I mean? Now, whether or not you agree with that tactic or not nowadays, you know what I mean? But that's what the coach, who is giving her money to play for him, and he's got to keep his job, that's what he decided to do. And now you have to handle that.
They are people. They are people too. Like we are.
Right.
Coaches are people. We are human. We make mistakes.
Absolutely.
We don't always do things right, but everything that a real coach does is not for his or her edification. It is so that your child can be successful, and not just the game, but life. So when you talk about college coaches, some of these coaches are the only income for their family. The husband or the wife is taking care of the home while they are spending all of their time and energy to prepare your child for life. And this is high school too. It's not just college. So this is the only income for their family. So that if in high school, 14 to 18-year-old child, in college, 17 to 22-year-old young lady, their job depends on the decision making of your child. So the structure that they're putting in is to help your child be successful and ensure that they can keep their families housed and fed.
Right.
The coaching career show is crazy. It's going to get worse now for college coaches. I feel bad for them, because building a program around a group of kids that have bought into your culture and everything that you're doing is now coming directly up against the fame and fortune of the dollar bill against culture and structure. One is more appealing and easier than the other right now, Coach.
Right.
And so it's scary.
And I think the other thing that we're getting away from at high school sports by the transfer rule is, one of the things that I thought was so special about high school sports is that, you have skills that you were able to put on a platform for all your peers to see. Yes. And you were able to play in front of your friends, play in front of your teachers, play in front of all the families of, your teammates in your community, and get that excitement. And now, it's getting to the place where kids don't even have the relationships with the kids that are out there on the court. They don't know them. And that happens in college because you get the support at the collegiate level because I may not know the kids because they're not in class with me, but I'm going because I'm rooting on Purdue or I'm rooting on IU or I'm rooting on I'm rooting on the school's name. And high school is different. The kids go to support the kids, but now if it's getting to the place where you don't even know who's on there, that senior that's on there that just transferred, the school doesn't even know them. I mean, to me, we're getting away from that, and that's unfortunate because this is the only platform that they have to do that.
Coach, I've seen the landscape of what we're doing when it comes to recruiting of the high school player, and I have decided to go completely left than everybody else is. I'm not recruiting anybody from outside of my district. If they move in our district, then fine. We are blessed to have your child, to serve your child, but my focus is wholeheartedly recruiting the kids that are already in my district. I want to celebrate those elementary babies that are playing in our in-house league. I want to make it special for them. We have youth night. Like everybody has a youth night, but we have a youth night around Christmas. And those kids come in their youth jerseys, and they're our Christmas card every year. There are girls basketball Christmas card every year.
Awesome.
You're important.
Yeah.
You're my future. You're going to help push this community forward one day. You're going to be the leader of this community. You're going to go to school, you're going to come back, and you're going to make an impact here. So the pride in school, the pride in community, the pride in the culture that you're building is what I am trying to recruit and build more than anything else. If I can focus on the children that I am blessed to serve, then maybe people might want to come play. Great, awesome. But they're my focus first.
Right. And as long as you have your administration, as long as they understand your philosophy and your administration is behind you, because what's going to happen, and I think as this continues to grow, is, again, we got in it to develop,
Yes.
to develop players, to develop.
Oh, people don't want to do that no more,
No,
Coach.
right.
Woo!
And with this transfer rule, what is going to happen to your freshman teams, your JV teams? Are we just going to try to create, again, a win-at-all-costs varsity team because, your admin wants wins?
Now, Coach, we've been in the gym together. You know me. I get excited about the development part.
Mm-hmm.
I get excited about that part. I mean, we were going to be coaching together.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know I was working at North Central, teaching the span at North Central, and Coach is still at North Central, working in our physical education department. You're head of that department, correct, Coach?
No, not the head.
Not the head?
No,
Well,
no, we have.
Seemed like it.
You know.
It seemed like it. I mean, you
Yeah,
always,
yeah,
seem like it.
yeah,
Okay. But Coach is always there. We always talk about the game. And I was a head coach in another school, but I was working at North Central. And so at the time, I was going to come to North Central and work for Coach and coach with her and learn from her. And we got in the gym together, and it was like magic. I mean, it was easy sailing. It felt, when you're coaching, who you coach with is super important. I mean, it's big who you coach with. But make a long story short, opportunity opened up for me at Decatur Central, and I couldn't pass it. It was just a great opportunity. But like you said, the administration is who sold me at DC. They care about the kid more than anything else. The school is set up for the student athlete to be successful in the academic first before you even get to the court of the field. And I thought that was really important for me. I mean, we've hired a full-time mental health coach, and she's a doctor. That's her job. All she does is work with our athletes.
Oh, that's awesome.
All she does is do mental health awareness and mental health skill drills to help build our athletes. And I can't. She's gonna be on the pod soon, y'all. It's coming soon. Mm-hmm. She's special. She's special. Yeah. But I wish more administration gave us coaches that type of support. Okay, Coach. All right. So we were talking. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but the question came up, Coach. When we talk about being intentional and preparing our kids for the future. What are 3 non-negotiables that you have for your program, and what were 3 pillars for building those athletes you have for your program? I think the non-negotiables are super important because they are usually there for a reason that doesn't benefit us as coaches, but benefits the kid more than often.
Right. You have to be a good teammate.
Yeah.
You have to be a good teammate and respect everybody's different skill levels, and that bond and that family and that sisterhood has got to be tight. And there's going to be some stragglers, but I always felt like we had to build that unity that in my opinion, sometimes, can win games against more skillful type.
If y'all together, if y'all chemistry is there, if you're supporting your teammate when she's successful and when she's failing. Now, I was thinking back to the visual. There's a college team, men's team, and there's a guy who I think he just missed a free throw or just missed a layup, and he's walking down the court with his head down, and his teammate, smaller than him, came and put his arm over his shoulder and lifted his head up as they walked.
Right.
Those moments.
The team from, the comments from your teams, my daughter being one, all right? So my daughter, she was a great 3-point shooter. She's a better defender, but a great three-point shooter too. But she never would shoot the three. She never would shoot the three. And then all of a sudden, she started shooting a little bit more. And, we asked her, why did she, feel more comfortable in shooting the three? And she goes, my teammates told me that I had to. My teammates told me that I was a good three-point shooter. And instead of hearing it from the coaches, she heard it from her teammates. Oh. And, that gave her the sense to, okay, that confidence. Yes. That I can go ahead and, that's what my teammates want me to do. Yeah. And so it gives you everything. But, obviously, I go to academics and behavior and, in the classroom. How, I'll tell you a story. I was at a clinic one time and assistant coach was there speaking to us, and she was talking about recruiting. And, usually at the high collegiate level, the assistant coaches start out the process, right. And then it goes to the head coach. Right. Well, she was real excited about this player that she thought she could get to come to their school. And they had the in-home visit. And she took her head coach and went to this player's in-house visit. And she lived with her grandmother. And I guess at this meeting with the grandmother, first time meeting the head coach, the granddaughter was so rude to the grandmother in front of the coach. Oh. She was like, why'd you cook this? I don't like this. And, she was sitting there, Grandma, can you get me a glass of water? And, they went through the meeting. And as they're walking down, the head coach said to the assistant coach, cross her off the list. He said, cross her off the list. She said, the assistant coach said, why? And she goes, if she is going to treat her grandmother like that, and she doesn't know me at all, how you think she's going to treat me when she comes to me? Right. And, so again, what you do in the classroom, big. How you handle your teachers, those are all important characteristics that have to, if you're not prideful about your grades in the classroom, you're not going to be as prideful about whether or not you can go between the legs behind the back and hit a shot. Yes. It might be there, but it's not going to be where it should be. Yeah. And one of my that comes back to character. One of my former assistant coaches, she's a head coach now. Her name's Chantel Poston. She played at Purdue. Part of great Purdue basketball teams at Purdue. She would say to our team all the time, how you do anything is how you do everything. Mm-hmm. And how you treat people. They're supposed to be, you talking about grandma. Grandma's special. I don't know about you, but grandma's the matriarch of the family. She is special. She has a place in your heart like nobody else. And to treat her like that, it would turn off a coach in a heartbeat. I've had a coach tell me, I can't recruit your girl because every time she does something good or bad, she looks up in the stands. Mm-hmm. Or she's talking to people in the stands, her family. Her focus is not on what you're saying, it's on what it's being said by other people. He wouldn't recruit her. Wouldn't recruit her. And she, great player, coach. Right. She's a Division I recruit, right? Wouldn't recruit her because of that. So. And that's what our players have to understand is there's thousands and thousands of kids that are being recruited. Yeah. And you've got to, do your work, and you've got to, what's going to put you apart from everybody else. Yeah. What's going to set you apart? Yes. Yeah, what's going to set you apart. So. Oh man. So tell me this, Coach. You've had multiple players play Division I and players play professional ball. Okay. Tell me something about your journey people don't know, Coach. Tell me, they know about that surface level stuff. They know about the wins. They know about, Coach, give me some sauce, Coach. Give me some sauce. Give me a story that define or that starts to define, what you're most proud about your career. Again, I'm going to give you some examples that show just my care, my love for my players. I'm going to go back to the late 80s or early 90s.
It don't matter when it is.
But I had a young player, again, a tough home life.
Yeah.
Just a tough home life. And so mom was in the picture, grandparents, 90 years old, and she didn't come to school a couple days, and wondering where's she at, you know. Got a little bit of message from the girls that she had gone to this drug house. And obviously concerned.
Red flag, scary.
Red flag,
scary.
scary.
All
you
alarms
know.
going off right there.
So again, I say this back in the late 80s, early
Yeah.
90s. I don't think I could do this today. But anyway, I got the girls to tell me where it was at. I went to that house by myself. I knocked on that door, and I said, I said her name, Nikki, if you don't get down here right now, I'm going to call the cops on this house. Yeah. I'm surprised that, somebody just didn't bring a gun.
Yeah.
She came down. I took her, got grandparents. She stayed with me. And to this day, she's married. She's got kids. She calls me. And it's stories like that I think those are the rewards. Those are the affirmations as to why we do what we do.
Yeah.
It's that, and we don't get it immediately, right? She was mad at me, but now she understands. Yeah. And, I had another player that, and this is probably one of my best compliments, couldn't play because of grades, couldn't, struggled her first couple of years. And I kept asking her, like, why didn't you transfer? Why didn't you go to some place? And she said, because I knew you cared about me as a person, rather than a basketball player, but those are the things that I think that come back that give me the most joy. The other thing that, I think I've had 9 Indiana All-Stars in a Miss Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And out of the three, maybe 4, but out of 3 of the Indiana All-Stars, I had to suspend. In my first year, and I give Coach Alan Vickery all the credit because, he had these girls for 3 years and coaching and developing them. It was just the unity in the team unity, the team bonding that wasn't there. They just didn't get along. And I was able to get them to play together, which ultimately led to a state championship.
Yeah.
But, I stayed true to my values, my core values.
I got to be the
character.
same with every player, no matter how good you are.
And, if I don't suspend, those girls, we don't do what we do.
Right.
And again, is it tough? And then you've got people second guessing you, like, how can you do that? How can you do that? No, this is what. And when they come back and they tell you that they appreciated, now they see. They didn't at the time.
Yeah.
And there was some battles, but now they understand.
Yeah.
And now they're great people. They're doing great things, and those are the things that come back.
Yeah. I got to coach some very special young ladies, but 2 stories stand out to me. One is a young lady who I coached a very small school, and her and her sister were on the team, and they had a rough home life. And one of them was a cutter. Cutting can lead to any self-harm is crazy. It's like it can lead to hurting yourself where you take your life. But you don't want to see anybody decide to unalive themselves, right? This particular young lady played ball till she got done with school, and I had left before she graduated. I had took another opportunity before she graduated, but she found me on social media, and she called me Coach Dad when I coached her, and I didn't know the intricacies of her home life, but I knew Mom was present, but it wasn't the best home life. And then she really opened up to me and told me, Coach, I appreciate you so much because you stopped me from hurting myself, from unaliving myself. And now I have a manager position here. I have a family. I got my own car. I have my own place. And I never thought I would have any of those things. I didn't see myself living past high school. That's why I coach. Then another young lady who she hated me when I was her. Oh, she couldn't stand me when I was her coach. She was in college playing ball and saw them at an all-star game. Her and some of her teammates that I coached saw them all at an all-star game, and she told me, she said, I couldn't stand you as my coach. She said, but you were probably the best coach I ever had, and we was in the best shape of our life when we played for you, Coach, and I'm sorry I was so mean to you. Because you didn't, stuff like that, when you know that you're doing the right thing for a kid. No coach wants to come down and suspend a kid or pull a kid from a game, but it's the right thing. You got to be consistent. Coach Mitchell spoke about consistency so much in our conversation. You got to be consistent with them because you might be the only stability in that child's life.
Right.
You might be the only structure to that child's life, and you don't know if you switch up just for their feelings or just because you care about the kid, how that could affect them later on. I got to be honest with you. I got to be straight with you. And if that means sitting you down or suspending you or making you run, then I'm going to do it because I know it's what's the right thing to do. And I have to be true to myself too and my values too. So that's why we coach.
Right.
That's why we coach. That's the most important thing. So those some great stories.
Yeah,
Coach. Some great stories.
Yeah.
This stuff,
there's a lot.
I know you got more.
Yeah.
There are layers to what we do that people will never know. We don't have a traditional 9 to 5. It's a 24/7 job. If a child was to call or a parent was to call me in the middle of the night that something is wrong and Coach, we need you to come get that baby or talk. I believe all of us would jump in our car and be on the way.
Absolutely.
On the way in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
It's not a small thing to have someone trust you with their child and wholeheartedly leave them with you for hours on the time and go out of town at times to play games, and maybe the parent can't make it, and trust you to be there with their child, be with her in an adverse environment where she's getting hit and punched and kicked and maybe not the calls, and to be able to bring her home in her right mind and safely. It's not a small thing. And I always tell people I had a coach ask me, she goes, Coach, how do you do everything that you do? You're a husband, you're a father, you're a coach. And I never really thought about my answer to her until she said what she said. My answer to her was, I don't have to do those things. I get to do them. I get to be a provider. I get to be a husband. I get to be your coach. I get to be a part of your life. And for me, it's not a job. It's what God put me here to do. And I'm happy that I get to do those things. I get to have a wife who is okay with me sacrificing time away from the home to be with someone else's child. I get to have sons who understand that, daddy's going to be there as much as he possibly can. But if he has responsibilities with basketball, daddy's going to be with basketball. Or, my son just recently, he missed his first soccer practice this season, okay? He missed soccer practice, y'all, okay? It was parent-teacher conference day at his school, so he went to work with Dad, which I work at the school. But we also had preseason workout that day. His parent-teacher conference was also at the time practice was. Not my practice, his practice. But to get from where I am to where his school was is about 45 minutes in traffic. Not to mention, his school's not near the highway, so we got to go to Butler University to go to his practice. So he missed practice, and I had my practice, okay? I had my practice. But he came to practice with me and was happy to be involved in the practice by just being a marker that the girls had to sprint around in the conditioning drill that we was doing. That was the first thing he told my wife was, I got to help Daddy with practice. To have a family that is okay with you being you. Because I know your daughter had to sacrifice.
Right.
I know
Yeah.
she did, you know.
Yeah. I grew up, the reason why I'm a teacher, a coach is my dad was. My dad was a teacher, a coach. My dad was a Butler Bulldog.
Okay,
My
okay.
mom was a cheerleader. And my dad was a coach, and then he became an athletic director, and then he became a principal. So I've grown up
In the house of educators.
house of educators, in the gym, and and my daughter did too. And with all this community and the players and the teams that I've had through the 40 years I've been here, I lost my mom, I lost my dad, and I lost my husband. And it just, the support of the families and the players, and it was just unbelievable.
It means the world too.
It means the world. But I will say this, I mean, in full transparency, there are times when I feel like, especially with my husband, is the time and commitment, and he was very supportive, but losing him much sooner than I should have.
Yeah.
Would I go back and change things differently and have spent more time with him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But and it's a small second guess, but life is a journey, and God only gives us what we can handle.
Right,
and
right. It's funny you said that, because I was talking to somebody about what God gives us. The Bible says He won't put more on us than we can bear. I was talking to that person in the conversation. We were saying that He won't put more on us than we can bear, but He's also trusting us to ask Him for help, to cast our cares upon Him, to give Him the weight of what we're dealing with, so that we can go be the best of ourselves in what we're doing. Because coaching is giving. You're giving yourself. It's a sacrifice.
It is. It's a sacrifice. I don't think that, a lot of people that aren't in this business, they truly don't understand.
Or let's call it what it is, Coach. Some people are not in this business for the right reasons.
Right.
So they don't feel the weight of a real coach, of what you really deal with.
Right.
Even our assistant coaches, we love and we cherish our assistant coaches, but moving 6 inches over from the second seat to the first seat, you deal with a lot more than the assistant coach might have to deal with, and you still have your family and things like that. So there are people who are unfortunately in our game right now who have alternate motives, and the children, every child you serve is not the focus of your endeavors, and I feel bad for those kids, but I have to coach who God has blessed me with, because once you get out of His will, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
you're in trouble. Yeah. So
can let's talk about AAU.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. It's a hot topic, Coach. It's a hot topic, especially for us as a coach in a smaller school, where you don't have as much responsibility or as many kids to touch. Coaching AAU is something that you can absolutely do. But for us coaches that are coaching the bigger 4A schools, it's hard for you to be great at what you're doing at that school and coach AAU, because coaching AAU, it's not. Hats off to those AAU coaches. It's not hard coaching AAU. A lot of travel, a lot of communication with those college coaches, a lot of navigating the political, But to do both, it's hard, Coach. But okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I just think that the AAU is definitely out of hand.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that the AAU route is for college exposure.
It is.
That is the main thing.
It is. Yes.
And those girls that are playing AAU and going all over the country and spending all that money on teams where they're not even getting college coaches to come.
Or playing time.
Or playing time. And, I would, just like to, I think a kid who's deciding to play AAU, I think, one, obviously, if they're on a team, a highly recruited team,
yeah,
all for it.
Because you're going to get the exposure.
You're going to get the exposure.
If you're on a circuit team.
Right.
You're on a circuit team. Not a mom and
right.
not a small, I'm playing local team.
Right.
Right.
But if you are, and if not, you have to get on a team that has a recruit.
Yes.
That somebody's looking at, no matter what level. You have to get that opportunity to be seen. Because, again, there's 1,000 girls out here being recruited.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're going to sit back and wait for somebody to find you, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So again, let's take my daughter for instance. My daughter played AAU ball with Ricky Harris, and Ricky Harris went to Ohio State, brought in all the recruits.
Everybody, yeah.
All the recruits. And so she benefited by being able to play in front of those coaches that gave her that opportunity. It wasn't about, Ricky's getting all these, Ricky's doing this. Ricky should have been doing that, right? But then college coaches got to see her because she played with it. And it wasn't an all-powerful team. It wasn't 10 major recruits. We had Ricky Harris, what I mean? And then they got an opportunity. And then she got recruited by IUPUI, played for Coach P, and ended up with 2 Horizon League championships and had an experience at playing in an NCAA.
It's important that you specify that that's AAU. Now, high school team is not like that. High school team is not like that. If you have coaches, if somebody's telling you that you're going to get recruited just by coming to this high school to play with somebody that's already being recruited by this school, they come there to see the kid they already interested in. They might see 1 or 2 kids, but you need to be on a team, an AAU team, where they're looking at everybody, and you happen to be on the team with another teammate that's really got it.
Right.
That's really that. But hey, come to my high school because this kid's got these coaches looking at them, but she can only go to one school, and we'll tell them to go to your school. That's a lie. Just want to let you know it don't work like that. These offers are not something that can be passed out to everybody. Okay.
And no high school coach, no AAU coach gives you an offer, or can get you an offer, unless it's under a table, unless there's shade being thrown, because it is the performance of the player that's ultimately going to get them recruited.
Right.
Now, can you get them, in front of people? But I can't, get somebody to be recruited. It's that performance of that player.
Right.
But then we have to, as coaches, I think, instruct them how to get, in front of those opportunities, and going on a team where you're not playing in front of any coaches and you're spending all that money and you're not playing with anybody who's being recruited. You're wasting your money.
So what I do is, because I coach AAU, I coach AAU while I was a head high school coach, but I wasn't at a 4A school at the time. When I took the 4A job, I said I got to focus on building this program because we weren't in the best position when I took over the program. But what I did was all the directors, AAU coaches, other coaches, other programs, send me your tryouts, send me your flyer, and I'm gonna send it to my kids, and you go try out, and then you have conversations after they say yes they want you or not of who is your child playing for, who is your player playing for, and at what level, because you gotta be realistic about who the child is, and is this a circuit team?
Yeah.
Okay. Because this child might have Division I desires, but Division III skill set and Division II IQ and Division NAIA body. You got to be realistic with the child, the family, and those conversations are hard, Coach.
They are.
Those conversations are uncomfortable, and I've had somebody say, "Well, you just don't know what you're talking about, and you don't have no connections to get my kid to the right Division I school." It don't work like that.
Right.
That coach's job is on the line. They're not going to offer your kid an opportunity to come play Division I because she can score and she can shoot, but she can't defend, and she's 5'4".
Right.
It's very rare. That's a very unicorn situation if that's happening, right? So you got to be real with people about, hey, this is the level, this is the people that will be interested, and this is the opportunity. Let's get school paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're losing track of the name of the school is not what you're going after. You're going after the school that you can actually get on the floor for, that fits your style of play. That's a super big thing. Your style of play is a super big thing, and that a coach you can trust, a coach you actually have built a relationship with, you know?
Yeah. And you know, families and players have to do the work. So, you know, again, they're not going to find you.
No,
you
got to hunt them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you send them their schedules. You go through, you analyze the schools. If you want to stay, do you want to stay in Indiana?
Yeah.
Then let's look at the schools in Indiana. Are you okay to go out? Do you want to go to Florida? Florida, their coaches may not even look at you thinking that they only got a 1% chance to recruit you anyway because you're not going to leave Indiana. But if you reach out to them and let them know, then they might look your way.
And if you're serious about going to a school, you have picked it. This is one of my core schools I really want to go to. Have you been texting that coach? Like, have you hit them up on social media? Have you hit up their team account? Do you know who the recruiting coordinator is? Have you sent emails? Have you sent film? Because I can send film. Have you had a conversation with your head coach about who you want to play with? Actually, me as a head coach, I'm going to my kids. Do you want to play in college? What do you want to study? If you don't know what you want to study, how far do you want to go?
Right.
Okay? Now that we know those parameters, let's pinpoint some schools that sound good to you, and then I'll pinpoint some schools that I know play like you play.
Yeah.
And let's work together and start building a relationship with those coaches. We just got blessed. Jacksonville State came up to see our program, see a specific player. But this specific player did the work, has been in communication with the coach, was on the phone with the coach the week before he even came. Mm-hmm. And dad and mom did the work, took her all the way down there to go to an elite camp. That's why they came to see her work out in an open gym.
Yeah.
And people think that just happens because your kid is good. You could be the best thing since sliced bread, but if no one knows who you are and there's no relationship being built, you're not getting recruited by that school that you idolize. UConn don't know about you. Kim Mulkey at LSU don't know about you.
Right.
You know, and let's be real. They looking for All-Americans at those schools, and sometimes some All-Americans don't even play. They may not play till their senior year.
That's the question. Yeah. I mean, if you don't see yourself, you know, playing after college, then, you know, again, what are you going to study?
Yeah.
You know, do you want to play?
Yep.
You know, or do you want to sit the bench for 2 years? And now, even if it used to be you could sit the bench for 2 years and then work in your junior and senior year at those levels, now you're not. If you don't play those first 2 years, they're recruiting over you. They're getting in the transfer portal.
Well, with the money now, Coach.
You know,
and we kind of talked about this off camera a little bit. With the money, if a kid is going to a school to play ball, let's say you got recruited, you got your scholarship, and they're paying you $90,000 to play, but the kid playing your position over you is getting paid $150,000, and then her backup is getting paid $110,000. You're not playing as much as you think you're going to play. No matter if you're killing them in practice, they getting paid dollars. So you have to be realistic about, like you said, do you really want to play ball?
Right.
You know, I should say, do you really want to hoop? Because girls play ball, women hoop. You're going to have to be a woman about your decision right now, about what you're doing, where you're going, and how much you really want this.
Right.
Yes.
And they just have to answer those tough questions and be honest with themselves, and then, again, do the work.
And back to the AAU part, I wish there was AAU. There are some, but I wish there were more AAU coaches who were realistic about, I already have a core group on this team.
Right.
This team is already stacked.
And AAU in the summertime for the kids that aren't on these high-profile teams, I mean, to get the gaming experience, I don't have a problem with that. But stay local so you're not spending all that money. Get game experience by not spending all that money going to Pennsylvania, to Maryland.
You don't have to tell me, Coach.
You know,
if you playing on a AAU, let's say you playing EYBL, okay, and you're going to Boo Williams, but you're not on the 17U team yet. You're on the 15 to 16U team. If you lose in day one, you're gonna get a consolation game in day two, and then you're gonna be home in 48 hours. But your parents spent all that money for you to get out there to Virginia.
Right.
And for you to play 3 games, and be in an alternate building than everybody else. Mm-hmm. Let's be real.
And, you know, like I told my daughter, you know, when you're in AAU, we sit in the gym. We might be there at 9 o'clock, and we might not be home till 10 o'clock. Yeah. You played maybe, at that time, they played 4 games, you know?
Yeah, now you can only do 2. Now you can only do 2. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but played 4 games, all right? She never got up 10 shots a game, right?
Right.
So 40 shots from 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, we could have spent an hour in the gym getting up, you know.
If you're going for experience, that ain't what you're supposed to be
exactly.
doing. Right, exactly.
And you know, but it is a necessary evil.
It's necessary. It's necessary.
And
I just wish people were more honest about what the realism it is for, like you said, if I'm coming to pay, I know people who are paying $900 to $1,500 for local teams, coach.
Right.
With a coach that is not a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I just think parents and players have to do more diligent of a work, you know, when they're choosing their AAU teams.
Well,
and
how do you feel about coaches having players funneled to their program from AAU?
Well, I mean, we all know that goes on. I mean, we all. It is what it is. I don't agree with it. I don't. You know what I mean. But it's something you just, you know, that's a whole nother conversation as far as, you know, AAU coaches trying to get on, you know, college teams so they can. I'll get you this player if you hire me as a coach.
Oh, that's happening.
Or,
that's still happening, coach.
In high school, I know it is. In high school, I've had, all right, in my years of experience, I've had 3 people that have approached me, all right, at the high school level, saying if I put them on staff, they know that they could bring girls. And, you know, I said, you know, no. I mean, that's a hidden agenda.
You got parents doing it too.
Yeah.
You got parents doing
it too. You have
parents.
Coach. Parents want to be on staff. You know what I mean? It's just, again, I think when that happens, that it's not about the kid then.
Right.
It's become about them.
Yeah.
It's become about that ego. It's become about, you know, what can that kid do for me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've been really blessed at the high school level. I have multiple parents on my staff, but the 2 parents I have on my staff, I coach with in AAU. Mm-hmm. And those parents, they know the game, and they're not yes men. We've had heated arguments about what we think the team should look like, and their kid ain't even in the conversation. And they're everybody ain't like that, and I'm very lucky that I don't have those parents like that. You know, these 2 gentlemen who still coach with me now, they're immaculate when it comes to that. But I knew them, like I said before, I coached their kid. You know, I coached with them in AAU, which is great. But having people come to you and say, "Hey, hire me," and I'll promise you the moon, the stars, and
exactly.
the sun.
I said bye. Boy, bye.
That's a different one. I haven't had that one yet. I haven't had that one. That's a different one.
Oh yeah. It's you know, it's just it, you know, caught me for a loop too. You know what I mean? Because again, you know, you just, it's always about the kids, and you know, it's not about. You know, I've always gotten to coaching because of that feeling when I went through a Final Four. I mean, to this day, when they play the national anthem, you know, brings me back to that. To be able to go to a state championship, to, you know, it's what my coaches did for me and how they shaped and molded me. It's always what I wanted to give back to young ladies, and
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So,
well, Coach, I got some quick fire questions for you. I hope you're ready for them. Okay, Coach, if you had to write yourself a letter when you first started your career coaching, first started your career as assistant or head coach. Let's just say as a head coach, you're starting out your program. You know, I'm trying to work on an ebook for first year coaches. Okay, so you're writing yourself a letter, and in this letter, you got to give yourself 3 things from the future that you wish you knew, and you can tell yourself to help you along your path. Now, you're not trying to change anything. But just some guidance, some direction. What would those 3 things be, Coach?
I think for me, because I grew up the way I did with a coach and a teacher, it made me, you can only trust. I have a small group of trusting people. And I think I kept it very small.
Yeah.
And I think I would what you're doing now, being able to talk to more coaches, open up to more coaches, sit down like this to get more experiences at a younger age, early on in my career, and then along my journey, I've kept closed. Again, I have a small circle, and you learn to trust. But in coaching, you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be, because you're talking about children.
Yes.
You're talking about lives, and you can't risk, some of that stuff getting out.
Yeah. Some people try to use things against you. But that's what we're trying to really combat.
Yeah.
We're really trying to be the light of. You can come to our podcast anonymously. Come anonymously and ask your questions of how to navigate, and let the community help you navigate that without any fear of, oh, they're gonna go back and tell your parent that this was said and try to steal your kid. We also need a mental health space as coaches.
Oh, yeah.
Because we deal with it too. We have stresses too. We have lives that are outside of the game too, and we have to walk in that gym and put everything aside and focus on everything that we need to do for your kid over what we got going on in our lives. So having, like you said, this space, this is what it's for.
Yeah.
This is not something that I had and I wish that I had, but like you said, we're very guarded as coaches. The development of someone's child is very personal, so okay, so that's one thing. Open up a little bit more, okay.
Open up, and I think I'm just not be as reserved.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
I was always, I'm a, straight and narrow type of.
I don't know a lot of people that's as organized as you are. You're very organized in what you're doing.
And be able to. I'm flexible, but it's like, be able to take a step back and say, okay, it's okay to stop practice early and send them home. It's okay to, just be a little bit more.
So adjust a little more with the times, maybe?
Adjust a little bit more with times, and then let them in to know me as a person.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Big one. That's a big one. Be vulnerable with the kids.
Be vulnerable with the kids as far as knowing me as a person, because again, opening that and having them see you open up, I think. Yeah. And I've done that after they've graduated, but they've seen spurts of it during,
Right.
But again, I still have that. I'm tough nut to crack.
That's okay. Coach. That's okay. That's all right.
I'm a tough nut to crack.
Those are 3 big things, Coach. Those are 3 big things. So opening up to other coaches, open up to more people to have more conversations. That's one.
Absolutely.
And then number 2 was. I'm drawing a blank now.
Just being able to open up and be vulnerable.
And be flexible.
Yeah.
And then the last one was give more of yourself.
Yeah.
Kind of show them a little bit more of who Coach Ramey is.
As we would go through, what I mean?
Gotcha.
Just being more relaxed with them,
Yeah.
Being able to have them see the silly side.
Yeah.
Tell the jokes.
Oh, my kids laugh at me all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they laugh at me all the time. I try to use a lingo sometimes when they're not paying attention. I try to say stuff that they say, and like I try to use a phrase that I've heard them say, and they all whip their head so fast, like, what you say, Coach? Oh, don't do that, Coach. Don't do that. You know, like, I think that's the funniest thing. But I'm like, well, I'm glad you're paying attention.
Right,
I'm glad you're paying attention because I'm trying to get this to you, you know.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right, that's great, Coach. That's great stuff. Okay, I got another one for you, Coach. If in your experience as a coach, who is someone else who would come on to this podcast and give to the community the wisdom you have given today? I mean, because you dropped some gems today, Coach. So the rule is, name someone that you think should be on the show. It can be more than one person, but who you think should be on the show. And then number two, you got to help us get them on the show. You got to help us. You got. I don't have the reach that you got, Coach. I mean, Coach Ramey, you bring the stars out when you come out. You know, you bring the stars out.
I don't think so. You know, I've had. Oh my gosh.
It could be a player. It could be a coach. It could be a coach from another sport. Don't have to be basketball. Just someone who's going to add to what we're trying to do as a community.
You know, I think Stan Binge.
Coach Binge.
I think Stan Binge. He's been around for a long time. He's got experience from, you know, longer than me.
Okay. All right. So, this is my message to Coach Binge, okay? All right? We're not in the same section no more, so, you know, he kind of opened up to me. We talked a little bit in the summertime this year during Charlie Hughes. Coach Binge, we want you on the podcast.
You know, he's been somebody that I've looked up to, have great conversations with. You know, he got out, came back in, and he's had, you know, some great teams. And, you know, so I think, you know, I don't know if when she's in Indiana, but I worked for the Indiana All-Stars as a manager.
Okay.
In my early days, and like I had Donna Sullivan, Jan Connor, Donna Cheatham,
okay.
Tom Earlywine. All of them were Hall of Fame coaches that I got to experience back in that time. The All-Stars were 2 weeks. Yeah. And just great coaches.
Well, we got Zoom. They don't have to be in Indiana. We can Zoom. We can Zoom one. We can Zoom it.
Yeah. Well, Donna was the head coach at Toledo.
Okay.
And then now she's at Miami.
Okay.
And she was Indiana Hall. She coached here in Indiana, and then Indiana All-Star.
Right, well, we're going to get a three-way thread
another. I got to share this story too.
Okay, let's go.
Just in the Indiana All-Stars. Okay, so, you know, I'm like the manager. So I'm carrying up laundry, okay? Again, with all these top players, top coaches and everything, I'm carrying up laundry. Guess one of the All-Stars, it was a boy All-Star, helped me, got my laundry, helped me up the stairs with the laundry. Rick Fox.
Wow.
Really? Fox.
Wow.
Yes. You know, I mean, in L.A., he played for the Lakers, movie star.
Yes.
I'll never forget that. Played at Marion, was the Indiana All-Star. You know, so, again, part of my journey has been, I've been around, you know, I did that for 5 years, been around all those Indiana All-Stars.
Right.
Boys and girls, and top coaches, boys and girls.
That's awesome.
That, I have been blessed. I have been blessed.
Well, you blessed us with your presence today. This can't be the only pod. We got to do a part 2. We got to do a part 2. In chat, put in chat if you want us to get a part 2 with Coach Ramey. Leave us some questions. Let's dive into some really, really deep minutia. You know, thank you so much for coming on, Coach.
I appreciate
this has been a blessing for me, enlightening for me. I'm stealing some stuff from you, Coach, for sure.
Thank you for doing this for everybody. I mean, this is something that has been needed to be done and get coaches talking. And appreciate you and what you're doing for. And good luck to you this season.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for joining us on Coaching Minutiae. I hope today was a blessing to you like it was for me. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Today's episode has been brought to you by the Coaching Minutiae merch store. We got merch, ladies and gentlemen, so check the comments. We got a couple mugs. We got design and a T-shirt. We have some more stuff coming out. Got some collaborations with some great people here in Indiana. That's all about Indiana basketball. So stay tuned. All right. Have a great day.